Good morning. Good morning. Oh, nice. We have people in the community room who are listening in. Hello, my friends. Good morning, Linda, Christine, Ann, DA, Susan, Alice. So nice to see you guys here. Sherry, good morning. Good morning. All right, so we have a question that has been submitted for this episode of Ask a Clutter Boss, and it is Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. The question that we have here, it's a good question. Any recommendations for addressing paper clutter? How to shrink the piles without getting emotionally drained and how to keep from regrowing them. So here is the thing about paper, and I want to know in the comments if you have eliminated a lot of paper from your life, how does it feel now? Good morning, Elena. So when it comes to paper, it's really important to put paper into context. We believe that paper records are super important because we were raised by people who only had paper records. There was nothing else. There was nothing else. When I was a kid, there were only paper records. There were no computers. Computers didn't even exist. There were paper records. Occasionally, there were photocopy things. They weren't called photocopies. They were called, what were those purple things called? I feel like the teachers in the comments probably know. I forget what they were. But paper records were the only documentation for the transaction. There was just nothing else. So we need to move mimeograph. Yes. We need to move our mindset into 2025. We have electronic records. We have duplicates of absolutely everything. Everything. Mitzi, hello. We have duplicates and records of everything. I was talking to one of my accountability clients this week, and we were just talking about if I didn't have this sheet of paper, where would I find a copy of this record? And it turns out there was a copy in a portal, like a medical portal. There was a copy in an email. There was a copy at an office, right? If you don't have your paper copy, do you have another copy? I was talking to another one of my accountability people about um, appliance the appliance. Why can I not think of any words today? You guys, have I only had one cup of coffee? That's possible. But the booklets that come with appliances, right? Manuals. Oh my gosh. Hello. Okay. So I was talking to somebody about manuals. Every single appliance manual is online. But even better than the appliance manual are the YouTube videos that people post of them fixing the problem that you're having with your appliance. Like, so beyond the manual, which really is not that helpful, you can go onto YouTube, you can type in your appliance model and issue, and it comes up with videos of people actually fixing the appliance. Like, that is so much better than the manual. So not only do we not need every single paper record, paper book, paper this or that we have, but there's better alternatives available online. So why are we hanging on to all of this stuff? Why? It's because we were raised by people who only had paper records, but we don't live in that world today. And so the best thing that we can do is fast forward ourselves into 2025 and keep as little paper as possible. The problem with paper records is that every single sheet of paper represents some transaction of your life. Every single sheet of paper, it's a transaction of time, it's a transaction of money, it's a transaction of emotion. So when you go through and look at that sheet of paper, you have to relive those transactions. We're living in the past with our paper records. Think about a receipt from the grocery store. If you glance at that receipt before you throw it out, you're reliving the decision to purchase every single thing that is on that receipt. Are you really going to return something? I mean, especially if it's days, weeks, months later, the food is gone. The receipt should be gone too. So really, when it comes to paper records, I would say be absolutely ruthless in number one, not letting them cross into the threshold into your house. Don't even let them come in. Receipts, if you're not going to return something in the next couple of days, don't keep the receipt. I mean, that's just insanity. If you Want to remember the date and time of something you see on a flyer, just snap a picture of it. You don't need to bring the flyer into your house because most likely the flyer is going to go into a pile of papers. And by the time you get to going through that pile of papers, the event will have been long gone. Any junk mail that you get, just don't open it. Just toss it out. You don't need to spend your time opening up junk mail. Most mail is junk mail. Okay. I mean, I think that's a fairly accurate statement. In my house, most mail is junk mail. And try and get yourself to as many digital electronic records as possible. Like, go paperless. You don't need that stuff coming in. It just is stealing your time. I'll also mention that our parents who raised us at the time when there were only paper records did not have nearly the number of paper records that we have today because of all of the scams that we get in the mail and just the desire to send a copy of every single thing home with every single person. We have so much more, ironically, so much more paper today than we have ever had before. If you want to keep a sheet of paper, take a picture of it, send it in yourself, an email to yourself. Make sure the subject says whatever it is, very clear, like you would search for it. And then you can search through your email to find it later. We have wonderful technology that is highly searchable, and email and electronic records are way more searchable than sheets of paper. If you're going to look for a file on your computer, you can type in the name of that file. If you're going to look for that file in your house, you have to remember so many things and go through so many sheets of paper before you actually find that file. It's just not worth your time. It is so not worth your time. So, how to shrink the piles without getting emotionally drained? I would say take it slowly, but be consistent, right? So, if you can only do 10 sheets of paper a day, 20 sheets of paper a day, only do that, but do it every single day. Don't skip a day. If you skip a day and then you skip another day and then you skip another day, you're stringing together more skipped days than days where you've accomplished something. And we want to string together more days that we accomplish something. So make sure that the paper that you're going through is not over draining you, and make sure that you are doing it very consistently. Um, Paper like weeds, keep pulling and trashing them. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I know, so much paper, so much paper. Okay, we have another question in the comments. Nikki, thank you so much for this question. Any recommendations for going through an entire house? I'm packing up and selling everything else. I'm packing up some and selling everything else. It's overwhelming. Yeah, I mean, our stuff is overwhelming. And when we're holding on to something and we're trying to declutter, we get stuck in this emotional tug of war. But if we can just remember that at the end of the day, the more stuff we have, the more overwhelming our life is going to be. And the only option that we have to change that is to let go of stuff until we have a reasonable amount of things in our life, right? That is the only option. So if you can think of the big picture while you're holding the individual thing, it's going to help you let go of stuff. In terms of recommendations for going through the entire house, it's the same as basically all other recommendations: consistent action, consistent action. I would, if you're going through the entire house, I would get rid of the bigger stuff earlier on in the process. So you just free up some space. And I would not stress too much about where things are going. If it's garbage, trash it. I mean, I think we spend a lot of time trying to find the perfect home for everything. And oftentimes, there is no perfect solution. And a lot of times stuff just is trash. And that's okay. Everything has a life cycle. Everything has to go into that next stage of disposal at some point in time. If you are trying to get your life to be less overwhelming, get on top of your stuff. Now is not the time to be stressing over every single disposal option, because the truth is, once it leaves our house, whether it goes to a donation center, a friend, a family member, a free pile, we just don't know what's going to happen to it after that. We have no control over it. And the best thing that we can do for this world, I think, is live in a state that is not so overwhelming, so you can show up as the best version of yourself and be available to the people and your community around you, right? Like, that's the best thing that you can do. Hanging on to all of the stuff and trying to hyper focus on finding the best next spot for the stuff is just exhausting. It's draining from you. It's draining like your life force. And you need to be the best version of you without being weighed down by all of the stuff. That's what makes the difference in the world. So if you're looking to make a difference in the world and you think that your environmental impact is the only way you can make a difference, I would encourage you to think of all the other ways that you showing up for somebody else can be so transformative, and it has nothing to do with stuff or if you donated or trashed or whatever. So put yourself first. Put yourself first. Reduce the overwhelm by reducing the quantity of stuff and consistently work towards the goal of having more freedom from stuff, right? More freedom from stuff. Consistent action is what moves the needle. It doesn't have to be hours and hours every day, but it has to be a little bit of time every day. String together those wins. Nikki, good luck with your going through your entire house. That's a big undertaking, but you can do it. And on the other side, it's going to be so much easier. Good morning, Emily and Denise. Nice to see everyone here. All right, so I think we've covered an awful lot in our first 11 minutes. Paper records, going through an entire house, and just big picture, right? We are doing this so that we can not have the stress, strain, and overwhelm of dealing with so much stuff. And if you can keep that big picture in mind as you're going through this, your end goal, it's not a decluttered house, it's not a decluttered life. It's a life that feels manageable for you, a life where you wake up and you can function to the best of your ability as many days as possible, right? Like more freedom from stuff. Yes, absolutely. You deserve to have a life unencumbered by the weight of all of the stuff, period. We don't need it. We don't need it. And if you're on social media and you're following people who are constantly showing products, selling stuff, if you're seeing a lot of images of all the things, just get off social media. I just recently was off all social media for a month and it was so incredible. And I reinstalled Instagram because my kids were sending me stuff and I wanted to see what they were sending me. And I felt drained. It's taking my time and it's being deleted again. You don't need it. You don't need it. So anyway, keep fighting for yourselves, my friend. Get out from underneath the burden of clutter and live a life unencumbered by the things. Carry less, travel further. Lots of love to you all. I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye, everyone.